It's Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. Here's what's happening. Wild winter weather has pushed through our area. The latest next. Plus, New York lawmakers return to work today.
Well, we've had the snow moving across the area this morning. You can see it on radar. That will continue through the day, and we'll talk about that weekend storm. The news starts now.
From the team that puts coverage first, this is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Our top story, some wild winter weather swept through our area this morning. Video from Randolph shows what the National Weather Service in Buffalo calls a snow squall. It's a heavy band of lake effect snow that brings whiteout conditions to our area, and that prompted the Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Office to issue a winter travel advisory there due to low to little visibilities on the road. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us now with more on what we can expect snow-wise and when the snow should move out of the area. Dakota?
That's right, Jay. And you can see here on First Defense Doppler radar that snow squall that moved through the southern tier. You can actually see the snow squall warning pop up right there. It is that pink box right there. That is what the Weather Service calls that snow squall warning. And of course, I think a lot of us probably, of course, got that this morning. That moved out to the east, and now it's looked like it's pretty much impacting parts of Cat County. But we will see more lake effect snow coming our way. Let's hop to the main graphics computer, and I'll show you the. So we still have this in place. The winter weather advisory. For lake effect snow stays in place until 6 p.m. tonight, and the one for southern Erie County, PA goes until the top of the hour. We'll see if they will extend that, but as of right now, it will expire at 1 o'clock. So these are the snowfall totals that we've gotten so far through this morning. This does not take into effect the snow that fell with the squall, but what came last night, and especially early this morning. Little Valley in Cat County, 6 inches. Gary, 3.8. Jamestown, 3.5. Cattaraugus, 3 inches. Falconer, 2 inches. And Olean, 1.6. So that was the lake effect snow that came last night through this morning. We probably tacked on about an inch or so from the squall that basically, essentially came through this morning. 35 over 25 was the high and low yesterday. 62 and 8 below zero are in the record books for today. Hour by hour, temperatures will continue to go downhill. Our highs have already occurred today, and temperatures will continue to slide through the 20s. Lake effect snow continues. We'll taper off later today, but a big storm on the way for the weekend. We'll tell you what we know in just a few minutes. Back to you, Justin.
Alrighty, Dakota, thank you, and stay up to date on severe winter weather by downloading our mobile app. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Well, other news we're following, a New York doctor accused of contributing the overdose deaths of 6 patients by improperly prescribing painkillers over a 10-year period pled guilty yesterday to 2 felonies. Dr. Eugene Gossey's suburban Buffalo pain management practice was among the largest here in Western New York. In agreement with prosecutors, he pled guilty to charges of healthcare fraud and conspiracy to distribute controlled substances in exchange for a prison sentence of 6.5 years. Now, the U.S. attorney says Gossey failed to change the way he prescribed those addictive opioids, even amid a growing recognition in recent years of their dangers. Now, as his practice grew beyond what he could handle, the prosecutors say Gossey failed to follow up with patients who displayed warning signs of abuse and prescribed drugs without examining them. Sentencing in the case is scheduled for May 21st. Well, New York's governor will kick off the 2020 legislative session today with his 2020 State of the State address. Governor Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat, will deliver the address at 1:30 at the Empire State Plaza Convention Center, that just adjacent to the state capitol. The speech is generally a governor's chance to outline his wish list for the year without having to specify how he'll pay for the agenda. And that will come when Cuomo proposes a budget that's expected by January 21st. The 2020 legislative session will mark the second year of complete Democrat control of the government there, and the party was elected to the majority in the state Senate back in 2018. In 2019, Democrats approved a laundry list of high-profile legislation on abortion, climate change, farm labor, guns, immigration, sexual harassment, and rent control. And one of New York's newest state senators says he's been working hard over the last few weeks to get acquainted with politics in Albany. State Senator George Borrello, in an interview with us this week, explained that he's made several trips to the Capitol before the start of today's lawmaking session to network with his colleagues.
I will do my best to work with those on the other side of the aisle. I believe, particularly upstate New York members of the Democrat conference are common sense folk, and we have a lot of common ground.
Now, furthermore, Borrello says he's already introduced his own legislation, the First Employee Tax Credit Plan. Now, that would assist single-owner startups to expand their operation and bring in their first employee. The senator says he also co-sponsored several pieces of legislation, including a bill that would ban industrial wind turbines in New York and modify New York's criminal justice reforms. Borrello represents New York State's 57th Senate District, and that makes up Allegheny, Cattaraugus, and Chautauqua counties, as well as a part of Livingston County. Well, hopefully everybody is having a great day. Thanks so much for joining us here on WNY News Now. Let's check in with the comments and see how you guys are all doing. Got to say hello to Brandy. She says, hope the snow lets up before I got to travel to Jamestown at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And right now, Brandy, looking outside of our windows here in downtown Jamestown, it's not too bad. I mean, there's snow on the sidewalks, so certainly you got to deal with that. But it was a totally different situation just a little while ago. I don't know if we have that footage we can show control room of the HD News Now cam. It was a little after 9 o'clock at about 9:15. Can we? Oh, there it is. So this was the scene earlier. This is not a live picture. This was earlier. So certainly now things looking a lot better. But that big snow squall came across and made some pretty tricky travel conditions for people. So certainly a big morning, nevertheless, if you're out there. But it's calmed down quite a bit. So back out here live. Look at that. I wish we could do that all the time. Wouldn't that be fun? Just go back and forth. No snow. Keep it away, for sure. Got to say hello to Heather. Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for joining us here on the broadcast. Hello to Lori. Hopefully you're doing well. She says, it seems to calm down here in Lakewood. Yeah, that seems to be the story now, Lori. Hello to Pam. Hello to Joanna. Hopefully you're doing well. She says, holy blizzard, Batman. For real, Joanna. It was crazy. I-86 was not a place you wanted to be today. Hello to Wendy. Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks so much for being here on the broadcast. Coming up, we have a lot more to tell you about. The latest on airstrikes in the Middle East, how officials say they may have intentionally missed area where our troops are. And later, some good news for those who have a sweet tooth as the Girl Scouts release a new cookie flavor. Stay with us.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you. When you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. Stay up to date on local news, weather, and sports that matter to you. Plus, subscribe to breaking news and weather alerts from the team that puts coverage first. In addition, watch news as it happens with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network. Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. President Trump announced his administration will hit Iran with new sanctions in the wake of its attack on 2 Iraq military bases yesterday, as well as in response to its broadened aggression in that region. The president noted that his administration is continuing to reveal other options to respond to the missile strikes. The Trump administration also criticized that Iran's nuclear deal is a very defective one. Iran announced today it will partly withdraw from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as JCPOA. Now, Trump called on other allies to break away from the deal as well. And some of his administration believe that Iran's missiles intentionally missed their targets last night. The missiles struck near 2 Iraq bases housing U.S. troops, but there were no direct hits. and they're suggesting that Iran may have chosen to send a message to calm tensions rather than provoke a significant military response. The implementation and the idea is that the Iranians could have hit the targets, but they chose not to do so. Iran missiles also landed close to the U.S. consulate but did not target that itself. Officials have said there were no U.S. casualties as a result of the attack, though a full assessment remains underway. Well, in health news, a study finds that the number of Americans who died from alcohol-related problems more than doubled between 1999 and 2017. Researchers with the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism looked at death certificates data, and they found that there were nearly 36,000 deaths related to alcohol in 1999. By 2017, that number had grown to more than 72,000. About half of those deaths were from liver disease, alcohol overdoses, or alcohol mixed with other drugs. Researchers found that men died at a higher rate than women, but the largest annual increase in deaths was among non-Hispanic white women. Rates of death also increased more for people between the ages of 55 and 64. Researchers say that figure is likely to undercount because death certificates often don't show that what played a role in the death. The study was published today in the journal Alcoholism, Clinical and Experimental Research. Well, nearly 80 million Americans are currently infected with a type of human papillomavirus. It's better known as HPV. The virus can lead to cancer later in life, but a new report shows more people are now taking steps to prevent it. Mandy Gaithner has the details in today's Health Minute.
About 14 million Americans, including teens, become infected with HPV each year. But a new report released by the National Center for Health Statistics shows HPV vaccination is on the rise among U.S. young adults. The percentage of those 18 to 26 who have received one or more doses of the HPV vaccine has nearly doubled in 5 years, from 22.1% in 2013 to 39.9% in 2018. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends 2 doses of the HPV vaccine for boys and girls ages 11 and 12, and 3 doses in 6 months if you are 15 or older. HPV is a group of more than 200 related viruses which can spread through sexual contact. While most HPV infections don't cause cancer, high-risk HPV infections that persist can cause 6 types of the disease, including cervical cancer in women and penile cancer in men. The CDC says the vaccination can prevent 90% of HPV cancers. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, Mandy, thank you. Now, the CDC says there's no way to know which people who have HPV will develop cancer or other health problems, but Dakota, people with weakened immune systems may be less able to fight off HPV and more likely to develop health problems from it. And, we were just talking about this week. On Monday, I got 2 needles in the arm. It was not a good time at all. But
I think you need to specify.
Oh, yeah, I should specify. Thank you. They were clinical needles. Okay. Why would you do that to me? You got me. But in all seriousness, I mean, certainly staying up to date and talking to your doctor is probably one of the best things. And I got a flu shot in my right arm because they said it wasn't going to be as bad as the tetanus booster shot that I got. Which, by the way, that the diameter of that needle was half an inch. I'm not kidding you.
Really?
Yeah, my family thinks I'm full of it, but it really was. They did a great job. Shout out to the nurse who helped me, but I didn't even really feel it at the time, but I felt it later because it's almost like a couple days after you get a shot.
Because it gets sore.
Yeah. Like my arm was just yesterday was really not good. My left hand was not that great. So I mean, it's all I do is type and use the mouse and answer the phone and talk to people, and sometimes I go out and do stories. So I don't know. Nevertheless, cancer is super serious.
Yeah.
And I did see another report out there that overall in the last decade here, we've seen a decrease in the amount of people who have died from cancer. It'd be interesting to see if the number of people who have gotten it went up or not.
Right.
But I know there's a lot of great, brilliant medical people out there who are trying to help. And I mean, this vaccine certainly one of them. So,
Yeah. I mean, every little bit helps. I mean, cancer is one of those things where, I guess in a way, we don't truly understand why people
Right.
get it in a way.
Right.
And I mean,
And there's so
it's
you can go on the internet and they talk about these microcosms of people who get it, and it's like
Yeah.
some people say it's environmental, but at the same time, some research says, well, no, it's kind of just something that happens.
Right.
And until recent medical history,
Yeah.
we haven't known it was cancer. The person just died. So
you can eat right, exercise, and all that stuff, and you can still end up with it.
Right,
It's
And I go back to saying this community really rallies around people who undergo different diseases.
Yeah.
And I know there's a little boy in Frewsburg who we covered before, and the number of people who come out to support him is incredible. And that's really what helps you. I would say, as a journalist looking at it, what helps a lot of people is that you have that support. So it's
Yeah.
really great to see. Nevertheless, Jay says he got pneumonia. I need a shot to make my brain work, and a flu shot in the same arm, and it hurt. And then he got a high fever afterwards. That's probably not good. But I know they say sometimes you can feel a little bit of the ill effects of
Yeah.
the flu shot. So, hello to Michael as well. Good afternoon to David. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully you all are doing well. Jay says he got a 15-minute break. Thought he'd say hello. We love you, Jay. I got to meet Jay in person, by the way, the other day.
Really?
I was at Walmart, and he helped me out quite a bit. So, gotta love it.
you
Jay.
always meet everybody at the Wally World.
Right,
That's
right.
that's always the best thing.
Good and bad. In this case, Jay, it was a great experience. It was a pleasure to meet you.
You can
So
always meet anybody
I
at the
hope to
Wally
see
World.
you a little more later on. So, Dakota, looking at the weather out there, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know.
Oh, yeah.
It's just today was so snowy, and now
Yeah.
HD News Now cam. Can we take that? Like, it is snowing again out there. There it is. So, are we going to see more of this snow coming up a little bit later on?
We've got a little bit more snow on the way. Let's take a look, first of all, at live radar, and we'll show you, first of all, what's going on here. So, first of all, you can see the snow pretty much moving out to the east. That's where a lot of the snow has been. That's that snow. And, of course, you can see that snow squall warning popping up there on, of course, the southern tier. Let's go to the Sky Vision camera network because I wanted to show you the camera coming from Salamanca. And you can see this is where that squall is as of right now. You can see the heavier snow and, of course, the ruts being made on I-86 right now with that snow. Hey, we had some great viewer photos. Here's one of them that came into me this morning of a beautiful tree. This is a pine spruce, I believe, sitting down there in Randolph. Thanks to Pam for sending this in. This just looks like Christmas. Unfortunately, we're past Christmas, but you know what? We're still in winter. This is what it's supposed to look like around here. First Defense Weather on Facebook and Hunters WX on the Twitter to send us any photos or videos you have of the weather. Winter weather advisory stays in place for pretty much the entire southern tier until 6 o'clock tonight. And of course, this advisory for Erie County, PA goes until 1 o'clock at the top of the hour. I think they'll let that ride. I don't see them canceling that or at all. Trying to extend that. So here's that channel of moisture. This is what's left of that squall that came through across the western southern tier. It is now pretty much north of Salamanca, impacting Little Valley. And again, the darker blues shows the heavier amounts of snow. And again, you can see it moving right across the southern tier. There's that squall warning popping up there. So again, the heaviest amounts of that is done, but you can still see a little bit of lake effect starting to come in off the lake. And that will continue through the afternoon today. We'll show you a future scan. You can see the in-house model picks up on a few more lake effect snowflakes. So again, expect this to continue through the afternoon. But later this afternoon and tonight, it all dies down. And then tomorrow will be dry. We'll have one dry day before something else comes our way over the weekend. So this is forecast snow totals on top of what we already have here. We'll probably pick up about another 2 or 3 inches on the highest hills. I'm leaning more toward this 2-inch number, not so much this 3-inch number, but we'll see what happens. Pretty much an inch or less near the Lake Erie shoreline and further to the south, and 1 to 2 inches across the lower elevations. And again, I'm more leaning toward the lower end of this. So probably about 2 inches, 1 inches, lower elevations. But again, up in the hills, you can pick up about 3 inches there. Now let's talk about this weekend mess. We've got a lot of stuff going for the weekend. So let's talk about what we know here. So the storm track, there's 2 possible tracks the storm will take. It's not set in stone yet. One will be further to our south. If it's to the south, we have to bring this ice line farther to the south. If it moves north, this will be all moved up to the north. The way it looks right now, Friday will be widespread rain. Saturday will be mostly widespread rain. Temperatures fall through the day. The highs will occur early in the morning, falling all the way through the 40s through the afternoon. And depending on when that colder air arrives and also the track of that system will determine what we're going to get here. We're looking at mostly rain, but it's not out of the question some of this wintry mix could sneak its way into the southern tier. And if that is the case, we could have some slick roadways and possibly some ice falling as well. Nothing is guaranteed yet. This is just a sort of like an outlook, if you will, of pretty much the data that we have right now. And it's all track dependent here on when that colder air gets here. So in terms of the weather impacts, what we have right now, we think heavy rain is going to be a big deal here. We think it may be a flooding rain Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday, and the winds will also come up as well with that. We're not expecting a big deal with ice or snow right now, but please keep in mind this could all change by the time tomorrow and Friday comes around, so we'll keep you updated. All right, here comes the future coming up on the screen. Maybe. We'll hit it again. There it is. And 34 degrees tomorrow. Will dry out, though. That's the good news. There's the essence of the storm system. Friday, 48, widespread soaking rain. The wind comes up along with that. Saturday, 55 degrees early in the day. Rain and windy through the day. And Sunday here, more rain. And again, both Saturday and Sunday will be track dependent. We may get a little bit of a wintry precipitation, not guaranteed at this point. Another dry day Monday before a few rain and snow showers next Tuesday, and temperatures above average into the lower 40s early next week. Jay?
All righty, Dakota. Wendy says her fiance and friend are headed back from Steenberg right now. Certainly we'll pray for their safe travels, Wendy, because it does certainly seem a little blustery out there nevertheless. Got to say hello to Butch. Thanks so much for those kind words, and thanks so much for joining us. Norm Rodriguez is here now with a look at what's coming up in sports. A pretty exciting time for a lot of people out there.
Yes, Justin, with sports, you don't need that miracle on ice. But coming up in sports, we'll give you the details on 2 Rebels hockey players who received honorable mentions. Stay tuned to WNY News Now.
Want weather now? Download the WNY News Now mobile app and stay up to date on severe weather alerts. Plus, anytime hazardous weather strikes, stick with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network that keeps you safe. You're all in a tornado warning, so now is the time to go to a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. What are you waiting for? Download the WNY News Now mobile app today. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Happy Hump Day, sports fans, and welcome back to WNY News Now. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. This evening, the JCC Jayhawks men's and women's basketball teams will be hosting games to begin their 2020 years. The women's team's game will have a 5 o'clock tip-off as they will take on Butler County Community College of Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, the men's team will battle the same college with their game starting at 7 o'clock. On Tuesday, 2 Jamestown Rebels hockey players received honorable mentions for the East Division Stars of the Week. Goaltender John Howe was one of the honorable mentions and saved 32 out of 36 shots in the second game of their road series versus the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. The other Rebel to receive honorable mention was forward Tino Passarelli, who scored the team's only goal in the same game in their 4-1 loss. Christian Gorzak of the Johnstown Tomahawks was named the NAHL's East Division Top Star of the Week. With a 9 o'clock tip-off tonight, the 10-27 New York Knicks will be on the road against the 24-12 Utah Jazz. New York has lost 3 in a row, including a thrashing by the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday, 117-87 in their last game. Meanwhile, the Jazz are on a 6-game winning streak, defeating the New Orleans Pelicans 128-126 in their last game on Monday. Utah is also in 5th in the Western Conference, 5.5 games behind the first-place Lakers. The game will be televised on MSGB. That's it for sports today. Justin, Dakota, back to you.
Alrighty, Norm, thank you very much. Well, it's Girl Scout cookie season, and there's a new cookie in town. It's called a Lemon Ups. Now, they're not to be confused with the lemonades. They are two different cookies. The Lemon Ups are crispy lemon wafers and have positive messages baked into them like, I'm a leader and I'm a go-getter. Now, that's not the only new feature. The entire Girl Scout cookie lineup comes in new packaging this year. Pretty cool. I love lemon cookies. Honestly, anything in a cookie, I think we both could agree. Just go ahead and
Except raisins, though.
You don't like raisins?
No, I don't.
Oh, I love oatmeal
raisins.
raisins.
I mean, it's weird because I like grapes, but I don't like raisins. And, it's the same way. It's like, I don't like pickles and cucumbers, but yeah, I can eat pickles on a Cuban sandwich.
Oh, that's strange. See, I don't like mayo, like, by itself. And by itself, I mean, like, if I put it onto a sandwich. But, like, if it comes from a restaurant, this is horrible. I sound like a crazy person. If it comes from a restaurant, whatever, I'll eat it.
Right.
But if I put the mayo, like, on my ham sandwich or whatever I guess you'd have it in turkey probably more than ham.
No, I mean, you're right because, I say the same thing about salad.
Yeah.
I mean, people think I'm crazy, but it's like, the salad you eat at a restaurant is completely different than a salad you make at home. It
depends, though. I make some pretty banging salads.
Well,
so you got to come over to my house.
Well, I will say, I think what a lot of restaurants use, and I'm giving away a lot of secrets, but I think what restaurants use is some of that prepackaged lettuce and stuff that they use. Well, I mean, if you use iceberg lettuce, which is what, my family buys, if you make a salad with iceberg lettuce, it doesn't taste the same as it does as a restaurant style.
It's more, a lot of times, too, in the restaurants, sometimes they're not that healthy because they drench them with stuff. At home, maybe you use less ranch or whatever you would use. So, yeah, nevertheless. And the other thing, too, is you got to put, like, carrots and celery and cucumbers and whatever else you like on your salad.
I don't.
That's what I try to buy. Like Wegmans has those really nice mixes.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good. And then, I've been trying to do light dressing. Sometimes it's like it's snowing.
Oh, come on,
ranch
Jay.
dressing, but what do
You know what I do when I make a salad? I throw the salad dressing in the bottom of the bowl and mix the whole thing together. Anyway, the weekend, we've been talking about this all weekend long. All week long, it's looking like it'll mainly be a rain producer Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but the line for wintry precipitation is so close to the area, we can't rule out the potential for maybe some icing. Of course, we'll give you more details tomorrow and, of course, on Friday as we get closer. And above average temperatures really continue over the next 7 days. After today, we go above average. Every single one of those days on that 7 day, minus today, is above average. The high on Saturday will likely be early in the morning, falling through the 40s. And, yeah.
All righty, Dakota. Thank you. Hey, you know what? This snow's here now, but it looks like it won't be here for too much longer in the course of the week. So
up, down, up, down, up, down.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dave says he's a human garbage disposal. Good deal, Dave.
I hear you. I'm the same way.
Strawberry shortcake, Wendy's favorite. You got to get some of that. Amy says thin mints are the best. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going on lunch. See ya.
Especially when you get them after your meal, like Olive Garden. Oh,
yes,
gosh.
the Andes mints.
So good.
I eat a whole package of those things. Those are awesome.
Well, we leave you with a shot over Chautauqua Lake. I promise it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's
windy, snowy. Don't be on the lake today, that's for sure.
The lake is lost. We need help finding it.
News continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.